What's up, guys? Neil over here taking a look at the Stokastic MLB DFS Lineup Generator for tonight's slate. While you're coming in, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. If you have not yet signed up for the Lineup Generator, you can still get it for 50% off your first week using the link in the description of this video or in my tweet. It's going to be just $4.48 for your first week. Still going to be just $8.95 a week after that. Fantastic deal for a tool that only gives you long-term profitable lineups according to the Stokastic Sims. We're going to start by looking at some DraftKings lineups here. I'm going to do all stack types, so I'll get a mix of 5-3, 5-0, and 4-4 lineups. All lineup types, so I'm going to get a mix of chalky, balanced, and contrarian lineups. Not going to lock anybody in. All right, first lineup, we get Alec Marsh and Kevin Gausman as the pitchers, a 5-3 Braves and White Sox stack. Let's take a look in the top pitchers tool for Marsh and Gausman. Gausman top of the board with a 28% chance of being a top two pitcher. Marsh down the board a little bit, near the bottom here, 6% chance of being a top two pitcher. He does, however, have a 29% chance of being a top 2 point per dollar pitcher at just 2% ownership. So some nice positive leverage there on a $5,000 Alec Marsh against Seattle. And then we had the White Sox and the Braves as the stacks. Braves third on the board with an 11% chance of being the top stack of the board. White Sox fourth with a 9% chance of being the top stack. So two of our top four stacks, a couple good looking pitching options. This one coming in on the very contrarian end of the spectrum. Love to see that. Only leaving 300 on the table. That's not a concern. Not really trying to leave a ton of salary on the table on a slate this size. Marsh coming in at 1% ownership. We got Matt Olson at just 7% ownership somehow. Austin Riley 5%. Orlando Arcia 3%. So really nice looking lineup here for the first one. I'm going to save that. Second lineup jumps all the way to the chalky end of the spectrum. Very different lineup from the first one. We have Clayton Kershaw and Blake Snell as the pitchers, a 5-3 Seattle and Cubs stack here. Let's take a look at the pitchers. Start Kershaw and Snell. We're going with the number 2 and number 4 pitcher overall. Snell has a 23% chance of being a top 2 pitcher. Kershaw 21%. Then we had the Cubs and the Mariners as our stacks. Top 2 stacks on the board, 14% chance for the Cubs to be the top stack of the day, 13% chance for the Mariners to be the top stack of the day, and they are getting a lot of ownership as such. As I said, we're on the far chalky end of the spectrum. We don't have a lot of really low owned plays. Everybody in double digits here, but it obviously is going to project really well. So overall, again, all of these lineups have been run through the Sims, even though this one looks like a lineup that's going to share a lot of combos with a lot of other lineups out there. It's still a long-term plus EV lineup, gets into the money often enough to offset having a lot of shared players with the rest of the field. All right, I'm going to save this one. I'm going to go through and just save 20 lineups, see what our exposure looks like. All right, after 20 lineups have 60% Kevin Gausman as our most exposed player. Second is Cal Raleigh at 45%. So nobody getting crazy high ownership here. I'd probably be okay just running this 20 lineup set. I don't mind having Cal Raleigh in 9 out of my 20 lineups or having Kevin Gausman 12 out of my 20 lineups. That's fine. I don't mind being a little bit more condensed when I'm only running 20 lineups. If I were playing 150, I'd probably cut back on these numbers. Probably wouldn't want 45% of any bat in 150 lineups, but in 20 lineups, I think it's totally fine to be condensed. This looks like an appropriate level of exposure across the board. All right, I'm going to take a look now at some FanDuel lineups as well. Again, going to do all stack types, all lineup types, not locking anybody. Pitcher for this one, Charlie Morton. We've got a 4-4 Seattle. No, sorry, 4-2-2 Seattle, Texas, and Cubs stacks going on here. Let's take a look in the top pitchers and top stacks tool for FanDuel. Charlie Morton, 5th on the board in terms of top pitcher odds, 8% chance of being the top pitcher. And then the bats. Our primary stack here is Seattle. Then we just have 2 offs of the Cubs and the Rangers. So let's take a look. Seattle, 3rd on the board with a 12% chance of being the top stack. We do have the Cubs, two players there with a 13% chance of the Cubs being the top stack. We've got the Rangers 6th on the board with an 8% chance of being the top stack. All right, I'm going to save this lineup, take a look at one more, and then go through and save 20. Similarly, we got Charlie Morton again. We also have the Cubs and Seattle again. So nothing new in this one. We don't have that Rangers stack. We have 3 Cubs instead, and then Fernando Tatis as a one-off. This one middle of the board in terms of chalkiness. All right, I'm just going to go through and save 20 lineups. Take a look at our exposure. After 20 lineups, we have 65% Cal Raleigh. We have 55% Teoscar Hernandez, 45% Eugenio Suarez. I would probably cut this back a little bit. I don't think I want Cal Raleigh in 13 of my lineups on FanDuel, 13 out of 20. I get it. He's cheap. But I don't think I really need that much Cal Raleigh. I'd probably cut back a little bit, maybe try to get all my bats below 50% on FanDuel. I think otherwise, I think I'm generally comfortable with this. If you wanted to run this exact 20 lineup set, I'd have no issue with it. I just think from a personal preference standpoint, probably mitigate risk a little bit by cutting back a little bit to maybe 50% or lower on all my players here. All right, that is going to do it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't done so, please do give me a like on the video. Good luck tonight.